Work so much, my greatest fear is I'ma die alone. Every diamond in my chain, yeah, that's a milestone. I'm loving it. Calling me, asking me for money, man.
Hello everyone, today I'm bringing you this gameplay in order to hopefully educate the general community or anybody who's coming by to watch it on how to play first-person shooter games or any games that could fall into that category. So I'm primarily a Call of Duty player, but a lot of the things that I'll be discussing can transfer over to any game like Fortnite, Rainbow Six, Counter-Strike. Some mechanics can transfer over to Overwatch and things like games similar to that. So first and foremost, in order to familiarize yourself and start learning how to properly play first-person shooter games, you need to understand the controls of the game. Most games you can go into the start menu and look up what those controls are so you can familiarize yourself with those there. And depending on some games, you can custom map controls to better fit things that feel more comfortable for you as a player to use. So on Call of Duty, I use the tactical setting, which allows me to crouch using my R3 stick. This allows me to do more quick dodging, and that's why I prefer it. So another thing to consider when starting out with shooters and stuff like that is to find a sensitivity that works for you. This is really important, as this will guide your shot and make your shot either crisp or it can be completely inaccurate depending on how uncomfortable you are with the sensitivity that you're playing on. So having a lower sensitivity tends to increase accuracy over longer range, but you obviously lose the ability to turn around and respond to somebody who's behind you. Right. So choosing a sensitivity that allows you the speed to turn around at the same time you want a sensitivity that will allow you to maintain accuracy over distance. So that's very important. One big thing that is a really simple thing to do that can help you out is making sure that your reticles are centered on the screen. As in, the easy way to understand this one is to, like, when you're sprinting or whatever, not be looking at the ground whenever you're running, because that's just time that adds on to when you have to raise your gun reticle or anything like that to where you need to have it in order to aim at your opponent and stuff like that. So that just helps you respond and react more quickly, as opposed to somebody who does not do that. So it provides you an advantage and helps, once again, your reaction time and being able to respond to situations. So that's a really simple thing to do. As you can watch the gameplay here to see that. For the most part, I do have my reticle about like center of the screen in comparison to where it could be like on the ground, if that makes any sense. So just pay attention to that during this gameplay and it should make some sense to you. Another big thing which requires patience is learning the maps. And what that means is understanding like different locations which could give you an advantage or where the high traffic areas are in each map. So if you can control the high traffic areas, then you can control the movement of other players on the map and in turn provide what's called map pressure in order to help win the game or influence the game in a manner that you would like to have it happen. At the start of new games, such as Call of Duty releasing a title every year, this is pretty important. It can give you a really quick edge over players either competitively or in public matches. So it's a very important thing to do, and it's something that comes with time. So the easy way to do that is just to play those matches either in pubs with friends, or if there's a ranked ladder, you can play it on there. What I like to do is before the game even start, or before I even start playing public matches, just to do a quick run through each map and look for spots that I think will be important or I could use in order to provide myself with advantages on the map. Another big important thing to learn is learning when to sprint and not to sprint. This comes with practice. As you improve with the game, you can take more time to sprint. Otherwise, if you're kind of new at the game and you're not as comfortable with winning your gunfights or you don't win them as often, then not sprinting into areas is kind of more important, because this will allow you to kind of get a feel for how the game plays out and how your opponents might be playing the game. So with that, obviously you don't want to sprint into corners very often or into areas where you don't know what's going on, so you can get a feel for what's happening before you enter a new area. So learning to And if you know there's either no opponents in a certain area or that they won't be there either through team communication or paying attention to your radar, then you know you can use that to move through areas faster, and that just comes with game experience. And that obviously changes depending on what game you're playing. A game like CSGO has sprinting more at the start of matches and less throughout the rest of the map as you sit there and set up for games and areas in order to gain control and take out your opponent and things like that. To transition, learning to play from cover to cover is very important for any shooter game that you're playing. Playing from cover to cover makes you less susceptible to getting hit by enemy bullets and gives you an advantage if you have a vantage point to shoot at your opponent where you have more cover than they do, so you can sit there and obviously outgun them in a lot of situations. Also, if your opponent's not someone who's paying as close of attention as you or that as they should be, sprinting from cover to cover will allow you to either gain a level of stealth or secrecy that if your opponent's not watching out for it, you can play behind things and they won't spot you. Or if you get in a hairy situation where they have a better position on you or are in a better position than you or are have you trapped where you can't move through, then you can use cover in order to either buy yourself time for a teammate to challenge it first and you can trade out, or you can just take the opportunity to stay alive if you're playing for streaks, such as myself right here. I'm really close to a streak. I knew that guy was in position to kill me if he wanted, so I played to a position that allowed me to force him to fight me at a spot that was better for me to fight him from. So with that, that obviously required me to have awareness of the game and where my opponents were at in order to make a play like that. So that's another thing that's important to develop, is awareness. With that, you can look at your mini-map in the top left screen or wherever that may be if your game provides one, in order to continually gather information on to where your opponents are and where your team are situated. So if you notice the blue arrows are my teammate, you'll see random red dots that pop up, which are my opponents. So with that being the case, I try and position myself where my back is to my teammates, and that's giving my teammates the trust that they're not going to let myself get shot in the back. And it also allows me to start planning out where the opponent is and just remaining aware of where they are on the map. So just keeping track of where the red dots are and where your blue dots are, and just where gunfights are, or if your teammate gets shot behind your back or behind you, then you know that there's an opponent behind you. So there's a lot of different things that come with awareness, a lot of depth to it, so I'll be making a video in the future on that in order to help explain it and kind of talk through what I do in order to remain an aware player in shooters. This guy juked the crap out of me, so that was some poor awareness there. Most importantly, it's learning. Practice will allow you to become a better player and kind of understand the limits of what you can and can't do in shooters, and not to mention teach you a lot of mechanics and how other players in the game play the game, and what are the common methods that players will choose. So with practice, you can improve your gun skill, your accuracy, how to play from position to position, cover to cover, and positioning on the map, and get more comfortable with your sensitivity. So it's like one of the most important things on this list, as it helps you improve as a player. And that can either be just playing pubs non-stop or just work on accuracy, you get more comfortable with a new sensitivity or anything like that. And with that, you'll learn what you can or cannot do as a player. So what gun challenges you're comfortable with taking, whether it be playing a sub spot across to a long distance or not, and making sure that you win those gunfights. So understanding what you can or cannot do can help you either protect your life on non-respawn modes or further kill streaks and things like that. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day, and hopefully you'll be here to watch a few more. Thank you.